Huh? Creative Director, World of Darkness. Join World of Darkness as our creative director? Shape the future of our legendary universe, ensuring authentic, innovative storytelling across games, books, and transmedia experiences? Does this mean the World of Darkness is about to have a popular resurgence? That all depends on what direction the new creative director takes the World of Darkness property. World of Darkness was once the second most popular role-playing game, the first being Dungeons & Dragons, but that was back in the 90s and early 2000s. Since then, the IP has fluctuated in prominence, undergone a makeover, retconned into a spin-off, The Chronicles of Darkness, then had a proud return with the 20th Anniversary Edition books. Paradox Interactive now holds the rights with the 5th edition of the game, having licensed out the publishing for Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, and Hunter the Reckoning. Creative Director is a position previously held by living legends such as Mark Reynhagen, Rich Thomas, and Justin Achille. It is a critical role which has been vacant since Justin Achille left for Studio Hermitage to work on Our Brilliant Ruin in January of 2023. Check my math, but I believe this means the World of Darkness has been without a creative director for over 2 years. I am glad Paradox got around to correcting this. Let this video serve as an open letter to their next creative director. My name is David Tavares. I am the creative director for Occupational Hazard LLC, working on Nightborn, a project much inspired by the World of Darkness. I have been a fan of the World of Darkness setting ever since a friend showed me their copy of 2nd edition Vampire the Masquerade in 1996. I instantly fell in love with the gothic punk setting, and I got to experience this feeling of elation over and over again every time the creatives at White Wolf Publishing released another splat book or a new game line for other supernatural creatures. The World of Darkness fueled my obsession with the role-playing games industry, where, after my time in the United States Air Force, I got a job working as the Gen Con IT manager. At Gen Con, North America's largest tabletop gaming convention, I got to help facilitate the event for tens of thousands of players to play games. I have been a long-time professional storyteller at Gen Con, running Vampire and Werewolf Chronicles. If you end up attending Gen Con, I would be happy to have you at my table. I've been part of the World of Darkness community for over 20 years. I've seen the rise and fall of various initiatives and creative works for each iteration and generation of the property. I was there when they announced the ill-fated World of Darkness MMO at the Grand Masquerade. I was also present at the again ill-fated reveal party for the Hardsuit Labs version of Bloodlines 2, having followed along solving the online ARG puzzle for an invite. You may even see my face used for the Gangrel card in the social deduction game Prince's Gambit. I urge the new creative director to take my view seriously, both as an individual point of data as a longtime fan, and as a games industry professional who has a broad knowledge of tabletop, LARP, video game, world building, creative writing, film production, and IP development. Keep in mind that my views are my own, and don't reflect the opinions of my studio or my clients. If I say anything that is factually inaccurate, please let me know and I will take proper steps to issue a correction and edit this video. As creative director, you will be the visionary leading the direction of the World of Darkness, maintaining lore continuity. You are the custodian ensuring the work feels genuine, yet takes new avenues of storytelling to broaden the medium. The future of the World of Darkness encompasses tabletop, LARP, video games, books, comics, television, films, and other transmedia formats. My first piece of advice is to unify the World of Darkness. Take transmedia to heart, not only making sure that games are compatible, but push continuity across formats. I would love to see the attention and care put towards a program when players of a LARP, Tabletop Chronicles, video games, all may report on their stories and their actions to affect a greater global narrative. Imagine how impactful the World of Darkness will feel to players if a TV show mentions the battle they fought or a character's ascension to the princedom of a local vampire domain. It would take a lot of work and dedicated care, but one living or unliving World of Darkness could be possible with the right committed team. My second tip is to broaden the World of Darkness by dusting off shelved properties. While I love the flagship properties of Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, and Hunter the Reckoning, we are still missing the majority of the World of Darkness catalog. The original Mage the Ascension came out 2 years after Vampire the Masquerade. V5 has been out for nearly 7 years when I'm recording this, and we still don't have so much as a Mage 5th edition announcement. Updating these game lines to fit the modern market will be a challenge, but that will be core to your role as creative director. My third suggestion is to keep focus on community involvement. From the initial designs and early plans of any initiative, keep community involvement as a paramount imperative which is central to your work. For example, if your team is having difficulty conceptualizing the freeform mechanics and esoteric philosophy of Mage, please take advice from Mage fans such as myself. Listening to this video is a good start, but make sure to spend time on fan forums, listening to World of Darkness podcasts, attending conventions, and participating in public-facing events where World of Darkness games are played. Make certain that the fans know their input matters and that it affects the direction of the game lines. Interactivity and bi-directional communication is key. My fourth recommendation is to trust creators. You will have many creators on your team, but you'll also be working with sourced third parties and fan creators. Part of maintaining narrative consistency is to rein in lore drift, but please allow space for creators to thrive. Outsourced work might be done in a way that you are unaccustomed with. Keep to a well-defined standard, yet let art bloom. Champion the community by giving them the freedom to make the World of Darkness collectively their own without draconian rules. This will be a difficult line to walk, but I believe you can do it. My final plea is to be an active participant. Please do not be an unseen force only brought up when there is a restriction or a problem. Be public-facing, but be more than public-facing. Attend events, give talks, let the community know what's in the works, and give us updates. Prolonged silence is a surefire way to let a property die. Transparency shows that you are dedicated, confident, and the right creative director for the job. Let's talk about the tabletop games, starting with those already published in the 5th edition. Vampire the Masquerade, or V5, has had a strong start and a long lead on the other game lines. Coming off the heels of one of the most cherished role-playing books of all time, the 20th Anniversary Editions, was no small feat to follow up on. Overall, V5 maintains most of its continuity from older editions, with some change-ups with certain clans with their names, banes, and disciplines. This was done with consideration with cultural sensitivity and streamlining the system. I don't have any major complaints about these updates. I would, however, like to see some supplemental rules for the progression of disciplines, as I feel V5 does not allow for the wide array of choices afforded by prior systems. Also, my favorite type of books are the splat books, which are noticeably absent from the catalog. Werewolf the Apocalypse was the second game to come out. I had the honor of storytelling my first W5 game the same day the book was released as an exclusive at Gen Con. Everyone at the table seemed to be having a great time. Upon deep reflection reading the core book, I feel a lot of the spirit was lost in this edition. I'd like the new creative director to take measures to bring back that lost spirit. The Apocalypse being now, Gaia having lost, and this being the Worm's world now is all fine narratively. It is the World of Darkness after all, but I know we can elevate Savage Horror back to its popular appeal. Hunter the Reckoning has been the 5th edition game with the most changes. Creed still exists, yet the Imbued do not. I would recommend correcting that and bringing back the Imbued, even if they are an antagonist or a player-optional supplement. It almost feels like not including them is a slight against the 1st edition. I do like the idea that even the monster hunters are monsters in their own way. Those who fight with monsters should be careful lest they thereby become a monster and all that. Age the Ascension has been demoted from its prominent role of the big 3 World of Darkness games. It is a shame, as Mage the Ascension was always my favorite title. In fact, I picked up a copy of Mage before I purchased my first Masquerade book. I understand a new edition of Mage is a daunting task. Not only is Sphere Magic with a K one of the most open and freeform systems mechanically, but the setting lends itself to cultural, political, and moral complications. Mage is not the first game line with these types of baggage, though. Both Vampire and Werewolf had some of these issues, which were sometimes handled beautifully, and other times should be learned from for a new, better mage. It is appropriately ironic that the force which thwarts mages, keeping them in check, is called Paradox, as it seems mages' very existence depends on the parent company's mercy and permission. I would contend that Mage is a cornerstone of the World of Darkness as a whole. The existential dread posed by the slipstream tribal techno-fantasy of the setting of Ascension resonates stronger today than ever. Our world teeters with the precipice of several possible ultra-dystopian futures. Mage is the perfect playground to tell cautionary tale stories and will be incredibly resonant with the contemporary community. I contend that Mage is the key to a golden age of the World of Darkness. Wraith the Oblivion is said by some to be one of the darkest of the World of Darkness roster, which is fair since you start the game after death. It has received a little love as of late with an audio game, the Orpheus device, and a VR game, Afterlife. Oblivion has had a stigma of being difficult to get into, despite being lauded as one of the deepest role-playing experiences of all time. I personally favored the approach the Orpheus books took, which was an alternative take on Wraith. I would like to see a merging of the two lines to make Wraith more approachable and easier to onboard, without losing the rich lore and history Oblivion has. Changeling the Dreaming may be the most misunderstood of the World of Darkness game lines. Some will say, with a tongue-in-cheek grin, that it is actually the darkest of all the games, even darker than Wraith. This is in contrast to the bright, vibrant colors that most of the books are adorned with. They are not lying when they say Changeling is dark, despite your eyes deceiving you. In fact, this game is all about the deceptions and lies of the world. Changeling leans into the loss of innocence, the white lies we tell each other and ourselves to cope or collude with the atrocities of the world, and that we all must succumb to the inevitable banality of the real world. Glamour is your power source in this game, but glamour has multiple definitions, including magic, beauty, and an illusion. As glamour fades, banality takes its place. Changelings are simultaneously the strongest and weakest of World of Darkness's creatures, both gods of a fairy tale past and trifles that cease to exist once the world stops believing in them. This is a tragedy a creative director should bring back to the stage. I have not even covered all of the game lines still collecting dust. Demon the Fallen was never given much time to breathe, despite having strong DC Comics Lucifer meets Good Omens vibes, yet having a fresh take on the biblical myth rivaling Masquerade's Cain origins. Kindred of the East may never escape the vault, but if the Orientalism was removed, you might not have much left, but what you would have is some interestingly designed mechanics and roleplay concepts that could be used in a new context. Dig deep into the recesses of the World of Darkness and bring back some of the creative prompts that can inspire innovation. The Dark Pack is a good program, yet I am sure more can be done with it and the Storyteller's Vault. Look into what other companies are doing with their IP licenses, such as the Dungeons & Dragons Open Game License. I would like to see more fan freedom and community support from Paradox. The creative director should promote and champion these initiatives. We were all entertained by Critical Role's rise to prominence with their actual plays of D&D. Jason Carl's great work with his assembled cast for LA by Night and New York by Night pioneered one of the greatest resurgences in World of Darkness gaming. I feel like this type of outreach should receive much more support from official channels. There should be multiple shows streaming on Twitch and/or YouTube during any given season. Please review the Twitch channel Gen Con TV for a good lineup of shows and actual plays. I expect a game company to be able to facilitate more than a games convention company. Actual plays should be seen as more than advertisements or instructions on how to play. They are an event on their own and an opportunity to expand the brand. Putting on your transmedia cap, you can see that any type of product should be showcased on stream. Not only does streaming video games, LARPs, etc. create an experience for the viewers, but it also inspires them to create their own shows and actual plays, virally building the community. Speaking of LARP, live-action role-playing has been part of the World of Darkness practically since its inception. Though an official LARP book is published, the community often takes it from there. This is a prime example of what I was talking about earlier about trusting creators and supporting the community. There are several LARP clubs and organizations which govern their own membership and house rules. They often have a widespread reach, and some of which hold their own chronicles internationally. Many of their events are quite grandiose and a marvel to behold. I recommend attending these spectacles if you have never been to such affairs. Several LARPs take place at Gen Con, so you're always invited to attend. I have a great love for World of Darkness video games to the point that I am developing Nightborne, a game greatly inspired by, yet largely distinct from, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Having formerly been an Unbound participant, I found 33% to be an overly oppressive fee for an independent developer. It takes time and money to make a game, and if I am giving up 33% of what I raise, making budget is nearly impossible. Between the payments, crowdfunding restrictions, and being only on itch.io, I was unable to afford continued production of the title and had to withdraw from the program. I beseech the incoming creative director to find alternative ways to support game developers who are working on World of Darkness properties. The other avenue for making a World of Darkness video game is official Paradox licensing requests. These are pretty standard, but it is better suited for established studios with strong reputations. I see the creative director as an advocate for those with fewer resources, yet a deep desire to contribute. The creative director should continue to facilitate deals for games on PC, Mac, console, mobile, cloud services, VR, AR, XR, and whatever comes next. But for the love of Kane, can we please get Bloodlines 2 across the finish line? I was expecting to be playing that one 5 years ago. I hope the Chinese room releases their game before I publish Nightborne. If they need help, all they need to do is ask. On to film and TV. It has been quite some time since Kindred the Embraced. We sort of skipped the Twilight and True Blood era. Perhaps Eger's Nosferatu is the sign we needed that Masquerade is due for a series. There are plenty of passionate writers, directors, actors, and producers out there with a ravenous hunger for the complex lore that World of Darkness possesses. Please make a deal with a popular streaming service for both a series and a movie. World of Darkness has enough properties to go around and alternate between seasons. I've been watching Castlevania, and it slaps. World of Darkness could do well with an anime. Studio Trigger did an amazing work with Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Imagine how good a World of Darkness anime by Trigger would be. Get to making that deal! Now let's talk books and comics. Books and novels used to be a mainstay staple of the World of Darkness identity. Writers are hungry to work on these properties. All they need is your help to get a contract. I found the Winter's Teeth comic series quite captivating. Please more like this. I recommend tying in stories from the games, books, and shows for all that transmedia approach as well. Comics often sell best when related to another product. Speaking of products, keep apparel, toys, and other merchandise in mind. You want to sell it, and the fans want to have it. Please make sure it is of quality and authentic to the brand. Before I end this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. I know Paradox is a company embracing the power and cost/time saving potential of AI tools. I fully support the proper use of AI tools. In fact, I'm a user of NVIDIA Omniverse audio interface for the cinematics I create in Unreal Engine. This tool generates great placeholder facial animations for 3D character dialogue. However, I do believe a creative director owes their team due caution when exploring and using these technologies, especially when there are rampant theft of data in work. Vigilance is key in ensuring the technology is used ethically and effectively. In conclusion, the World of Darkness is in your hands. That is not to say it is only in your hands, future creative director. Your whole team have significant roles. Rely on them for help and listen to their needs, wants, and desires. Together, you are the custodians of the World of Darkness. Do us proud. Time for a shameless plug for my upcoming game, Nightborne. Nightborne is a vampire action RPG where you may fight, sneak, or charm your way through a gothic modern New Orleans as a vampire detective of your creation. Unravel a vast centuries-old conspiracy involving vampire factions, werewolves, and far stranger horrors. Try to survive as a Nightborne without losing yourself to madness or damnation, if you can. Wishlist Nightborne on Steam and the Epic Games Store and sign up for notifications on the Kickstarter. Thank you for listening. Farewell, Vampire.